Hey everybody, it's Dr. B. Welcome back to my channel. Wanted to say thank you to everybody who's liked, commented, subscribed, shared my page with other people. I just really appreciate you and everything that you all do. So thank you. If you want to book a private reading, the information on how to do that is in the description box below. And I also wanted to say that I'm running a special today only, 10% off. It's my daughter Eden's birthday and her 10th birthday, and so 10% off. The code for that is Eden Love. You can enter that in when you book your appointment and get 10% off. So I haven't done a reading for the karmic situation in a long time. So if you're watching this, this is specifically for people whose counterpart, twin flame, divine love, soulmate, whatever language you choose, whatever label applies or resonates for you, is in a karmic situation. Now that could be a karmic partner, like a relationship. It could be a boss, family member. You know, it really is. There's a variety of different things. You'll know if it's for you. If it's not, if your counterpart is not in a karmic situation, it's probably better that you click away at this point so you don't get triggered and get in your feels about things that aren't applicable. So I'm going to go ahead and set sacred space. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come through be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego to the outside. I call upon my ancestors, guides, higher wisdom, divine love, ascended masters to be with me, to guide these messages, to protect this energy, protect the listener and the person for whom they're listening. May these messages serve to inspire, transform, and contribute to ascension. And so it is. So I want to do this a little bit differently today. Just because that's what I felt led to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at what are the past life energies that are connecting your person and their karmic partner. So we have ships, Greco-Roman, interesting, and orphan. Wow, that makes a shit ton of sense to me. So here's what I'm getting just right off the jump is that part of what is contributing to this situation with them, why they're in this state, maybe perhaps one person is like, you know, it's a situation where they're not really feeling fulfilled, they're not really happy, but they're unable to leave or they're unwilling to leave. Part of that is because I feel like somebody in the situation was abandoned in a past life. So it was sometime in the Greco-Roman era, well, where they were... maybe one of them was a parent, one of them was a child, and someone was orphaned in that situation. I'm getting that it was because somebody left on a ship. I also wanted to point this out, so if anybody asks, I was washing a dish last night and the glass broke around my hand. That's only happened to me a couple of times in my life. The first time was right before I met my divine counterpart, and it was like, you know, I looked it up metaphysically, and it's like the paradigm shifting. So that it happened again last night was pretty significant. So I'm thinking that some major changes are on the way. But anyway, sorry for the segue. So that's what I'm getting, is that there was a shared lifetime with these two that was rooted back in the Greco-Roman era. And maybe one person went to war or was going off to explore, was looking to see different parts of the world, and in that left somebody else orphaned. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean like a parent-child relationship. It could be that they were, you know, lovers or family members, and the person left on the ship and never came back. And so here's the deal. In this lifetime, the karma that they're carrying in is about abandonment. It's about... somebody doesn't want to be abandoned again, and somebody doesn't want to be the one to abandon them. And so they're holding on and pushing for a situation that really isn't serving anymore, to avoid these feelings. But the thing is that you can, you know, consciously end connections or move on from situations without triggering feelings of abandonment, or without abandoning people. It's like you can leave a connection or a situation without abandoning, meaning just like leaving without any explanation or thought, or with the expectation that someone's going to come back. But they're not understanding that that's a possibility. So they're kind of stuck in the situation. The other thing is that the other person, the one who's afraid of being abandoned, the orphan in that past life, needs to work through their own attachment issues around that, about recognizing that somebody leaving, somebody moving forward in a situation, even going out on a ship and not coming back, doesn't mean anything about you as an individual. It's their situation, it's their karma. So this person, it feels it's more like the karmic partner needs to release their karma to heal, is about continuing to be terrified of being orphaned again, and recognizing that they can stand on their own 2 feet, and that they don't need to continue to cling to situations or people that no longer serve just because they don't want to be left alone. So what are the soul lessons that they're supposed to be learning right now? So we've got be creative, wow, and keep your commitments. Oh, by the way, the Past Life Oracle deck is by Doreen Virtue and Brian Weiss. He's a psychiatrist that does past life regressions. Pretty amazing stuff if you ever read his books. And this is the Soul Lessons by Sonia Choquette. So the soul lessons that they're supposed to be learning right now is about being creative. This is about looking for alternative ways around or out of a situation. That's what part of what's happening, is that people need to get more creative. They need to be able to see things in a different light. Creativity is important. It's about it's about learning to move in a different direction. So the book says the soul's lesson is to activate and use your creative vision to guide you out of present challenges and onto more stable ground. Begin by removing all emotionally charged, fear-based perspectives, like, hello, removing karma, right? Healing karma. Name your obstacles accurately. As a higher being, creatively imagine as many solutions as possible and write them down so you can see them on paper. Things do change for the better the minute you use your power of vision to create better. It's interesting. So the next soul lesson is about keeping your commitments. But here's the thing. What I'm getting is that some of them may be thinking that they're keeping their commitments to, like, say if they have a partner, like the karmic relationship is with a karmic partner, that they may think that by staying in that situation that they're keeping their commitments. But this is not about keeping the karmic ties and staying faithful to karmic ties that you made in past lives, or even karmically based commitments that you made in this life. It's about keeping your commitment to your soul. For twin flames, I don't really like the label. I feel like labels are too confining, but that's a label that makes sense to a lot of people. So for twin flames, there was a commitment that was made even prior to entering into this lifetime, there was agreements that were made, commitments about fulfilling purpose and healing and transforming and doing work. And by staying stuck in a karmic situation, your counterpart is not keeping their commitment. And so this is not about keeping karmic commitments in this life. This is about keeping soul commitments that you made prior to coming into life. It says, your soul's purpose right now is to grow in integrity and humility in the face of the divine. You can no longer ignore or deny your spiritual responsibilities or pretend that you're the exception to the rules of the game of life. Above all, be fair in your dealings with others. And it says, your soul's lesson is to rein in your ego and return to your spirit. All upsetting shocks presently unfolding are direct repercussions of your overly indulgent or negative behavior patterns over a long period of time. These disruptions aren't meant to punish you, but rather to shake you free from your delusions and help you reconnect to your higher spirit. You can minimize your agitation by admitting your errors quickly, especially in your failure to keep promises and fulfill your obligations. Stop making excuses. Simply put, it's time to straighten up and fly right. So they could be experiencing some tower moments and some shakeups right now because of these issues that they've been carrying. So let's move this aside and move into some more cards and see what's a little further about what's going on. I'm going to use the Mythical Goddess Tarot by Sage Holloway and Catherine Skaggs. This was the deck that I really first began using, and I just love coming back to it. Every now and then it just speaks to me. So I want to look at closer at each individual's energy. So let's see. What is the overall current energy for this karmic situation? Interesting. We've got Shakti. Wow, Madame Pele, who I absolutely love. Holy shit, that's a lot of energies. Wow. And the Pleiadian star goddess. So here's the thing. Somebody has had that, Shakti awakening. This ecstatic union is about someone's being pulled in that direction. If this is a karmic situation, of course, it can't really trigger that ecstatic union, that kundalini rising. So this is saying that somebody, maybe even both people, because even though they're not together, not a divine union, they can individually be divine partners to somebody else. I hope that makes sense. So like your divine counterpart's karmic partner can have their own divine counterpart. And so they are divine in that situation. They're just not divine in this situation. I hope that's making sense. And that's why I always say to remember that karmic partners are allies in this transformation. There are lessons that the karmic partner can only bring, or they can bring that you can't bring. There are certain healing, certain disruptions that only they can create. And so they are all as well divine, and we need to keep that in mind when we're dealing with them. But here's the thing, is that this is saying to me that people are being pulled toward divine union, to come to this pull toward being united with spirit. This is like, look, you have power. You're a spirit being having a human experience, and you can tap into those the powers that are available to you because you're a divine being. And it's like this spirit is like beckoning people to come back. I'm reminded of, I think it was Jesus. Yeah, it was Jesus that said, like, all the miracles that he did. And then he was like, you can do all of these things and more. And people were like, how? And he's like, because like I'm one with the Father, you're one. I don't remember the whole thing, but the long and short of it is that it's like they're starting to understand that they've been really limiting themselves, and they're feeling the call. They're feeling the spiritual call. So this could be people really feeling the pull toward wanting to have this ecstatic sacred union. If you are a person who's listening who has been intimate with your counterpart, it feels like they've been really feeling that pull again. They've been feeling like that desire to come back towards you in that way, because it's like, they recognize the power and the creativity. It was like, individually you're both very powerful people, and then together you're like a force to be reckoned with, and they're recognizing that. And I feel like they're both people in this situation are being called to this ecstatic union, like no more settling. Okay, but here's the thing, they've got to be purified. I'm thinking of Purple Rain, remember? First you must be purified in the water of Lake Minnetonka, which by the way is a life goal. I'm going to do that someday. But they're being purified right now. That's the thing. They're being purified. They're going through the refiner's fire. The refiner's fire, if you're not familiar, is when people go into, what are they called? What are they called? God, I can't remember their name. But anyway, it's the people that work with gold. And they, what happens is that they heat the gold up in like a cauldron, to extremely high temperatures. It liquefies it, and they take this thing and scoop out all the impurities. And so like 10 karat gold has been purified 10 times, 14 karat gold has been purified 14 times. And so the purer the gold, the more valuable it is. It also becomes weakened, so that's why you can't go too pure, becomes like you can't really use it. But anyway, they're going through this purification process. So they're like, things in their lives will get heated up, right? Things will get intense. Maybe like money gets funny, or somebody is unfaithful, and it turns the heat up in the relationship, and they have to deal with things, they have to work through things, and in the process it purifies them. It's like, so one person perhaps, I'll just use this as an example, has an affair with somebody else, and it becomes known, and it turns up the heat in the relationship, and then some of the purification process is like, well, maybe I need to be more of a person of integrity, maybe I need to be more honest and more conscious. But either way, what's happening is that they're literally going through this purification process. It's not fun. Purification is not a fun process. It's intense. And that's what is happening. They're connected right now through the purification. It feels like the spirit has turned the furnace up quite a bit to heat things up. Like, look, it's time for people to like start doing some things and start taking some action. And that's what's happening. So then we have the Pleiadian, I think I'm saying that right, star goddess, which is what would be the star in the traditional tarot. This is a card of hope. This is a card of inspiration. This is about really, it's like, this is people, if you look at this card, this person is here and then they're like open up and connected to their higher self and to higher purpose. Well, I feel like what's happening right now is that people are letting go of like ego, lower level ego based kinds of attachments and things, and they're rising to their higher levels of what they're supposed to be doing, rising into mission. It's like, if you're doing things that are based out of ego, or you're doing things that are based out of fear, then they're not going to, things aren't going to work out very well. And all of this is saying to me is that there's an awakening process that's happening. People are wanting to step into their divine purpose, and it's like they're gaining the confidence. They're building the confidence to be able to do that. And that's what needs to happen. They need to have that confidence. They need to have that belief and that power in themselves to be able to move in that direction. Otherwise, they'll continue to stay stuck. So let's look at what your divine counterpart is bringing in. It's interesting. The confusion, because I had confusion earlier this week. Wow. And the moon. You guys look at that. We've got 5 cards on the table, and 4 of them are major arcana. That's significant. And then we have fear. Very interesting, because those messages, like I think in the weekly reading, this message came through, and then in the no communication reading, this message came through. So the divine counterpart is bringing in right now confusion. These 2 things are very prevalent, very, very, very confused about what's happening, confused about what direction to go in. They don't know what is going on. They can't see, what is that saying? They don't know their ass from their head. They're just kind of like, they're just confused. They don't know what is going on. Everything is up in the air. It feels like there's a lot of, chaotic energy around them. It could be life has dealt them some things. Like that came through earlier. It could be that they're just like really trapped in their own head trying to figure things out. They have a lot of fear. They have a lot of fear of letting go, of facing the future, fear of the unknown. They're like really needing to let go of some of their attachments, of some of the things that they're really clinging to. I want to point something out to you. This card is followed immediately in the deck by this card. And so what I'm seeing here is progress. Things are moving ahead. I mean, I say that before, and a lot of people are like, well, you've been saying that for months, that things are moving ahead. They are moving ahead. You may not always see it, right? Especially if you're not in communication, you may not see what's going on. But the thing is that they are happening. Things are shifting and transforming. We just have to continue to go with the process and allow things to take place. The moon is about intuition. This is about getting messages that can no longer be ignored. And that's what I'm getting, is that part of what's creating this confusion and this fear is that there are messages that are coming through that are like, look, you can't continue to pretend like this is not an issue. That this connection or this situation that you're in is not a problem. You've got to do the work. You've got to face this. And if things come to the surface, pay attention, because this is a card, the way that the deck, the book writes about this card, is about cellular memory and past life energies coming up and coming into light in the conscious mind. This is like mysteries are starting to be revealed. They may start to understand that past life tie to the orphan energy and why they feel so bound to this situation. But this is like what's happening as the information that's coming up is coming up to help them to make decisions to move in the proper direction. So what is the karmic person bringing in? So we've got passion, intention, and fruition. So the karmic person in this situation is tapping into their own passion. They might have found something that they feel passionate about that maybe they haven't felt passionate for a while. I do feel like there is still a tie to this situation emotionally, and that they still may feel some passion toward the situation. But I also get the sense that it's not like a real, like, I'm getting the feeling, just this deep sense that it's not like I'm really passionate about you. It's more like I'm more passionate about not losing you. Because I'm afraid of abandonment. So if you go down to the root and the core of the issue, it's not so much about love and connection as it is about being, wanting to show passion, maybe increasing like affection so that the other person keeps, keeping their attention or something along those lines. This is a person, I'm getting, it's interesting because I don't really ever read this card this way, but this intention is about, what the energy that's coming through with the intention is about, this person, and it does feel like a karmic partner, like this is somebody who may be in a relationship with your counterpart, has some pretty solid, doesn't intend to let the situation go easily. It feels like they're going to kind of try and keep forcing the issue because they want this Ten of Pentacles energy. They want this thing to come to fruition. They want to feel like their sacrifices were worth it. They are really communicating to, like I feel like there's a lot of prayers and like a lot of please, God, Goddess, Great Spirit, whatever language they use, like make this person really love me. Let them feel my passion. I want this to happen. I want this to come to fruition. I want things to be this way. But what it feels like is it's not about like the other person. See, the thing is that real love is never about what you do for me. It's about how can I help your soul ascend? Okay, that's the real love. Real love is never going to put your happiness before somebody else's. So if this person is looking at this this karmic partner is looking at this person, recognizing on a certain level that they're not happy, that this is not a situation that they really want to be in. They've struggled, there's been issues, but this person is like, but I want them to like be passionate for me and I want this to come to fruition. That's about their needs. That's about what they want. It's not about looking at the fact that like, is this a good situation? Are they thriving with me, or am I keeping them small? You know what I mean? And that takes some honesty and some real deep some painful self-reflection, but that's what I feel like they're not doing. This all feels like very self-serving type of energy, like it's all about me, it's all about what I want, it's all about not me, not like me, Dr. V, like I'm speaking in the terms of the karmic person, that that's what they're considering first and foremost is their needs and their desires, and that's kind of what has been keeping things going. So what is likely to happen? So actually what I want to look at is how is the karma being resolved. So we've got nurturance, alchemy, wow, and the great void. Interesting. So here's the thing, how the karma is going to be resolved is people are going to have to nurture themselves, nurture their dreams, what they really want. You see these like baby flowers are just starting to grow. It's going to require intention and nurturance to the situation. It's going to require dedication. Dedication not necessarily to I don't feel like to the relationship, but to the self in the relationship. So the self that is in this karmic connection needs to be nurtured, needs to be taken care of. It's like, what are my needs? What do I deserve? What do I desire? And how can I bring that to pass? And then there's this alchemy. They're going to alchemize the situation. Somebody is going to take the situation and shift it from what it has been into something new. That's, a really beautiful thing. Alchemy is about, if you think about the history of alchemy, it's like, or if you've read The Alchemist by, what's his name? Paulo Coelho. He talks about that, about the alchemy. And alchemy is essentially taking a situation, taking base metal and transforming it to gold. Here comes gold again, right? And so that's the thing, is that they're learning how to transform their circumstances, how to alchemize their circumstances. This is about following the divine, following the creative impulses, and manifest the life and the beauty that they want to live. That's the thing. They're going to resolve the karma when they start learning how to transform their world and their life, by transforming their thoughts and their energies and what they're putting out in the world. So here's the thing. How the karma is going to be resolved is going to be about facing this transition, facing the dark times ahead, with courage, to release the desire to be completely in the light. That's the thing for a lot of people, is that they want the answers now. They want to know exactly what's going to happen in the future. And to resolve this karma, they're going to have to release their attachment to this. They're going to have to release, I need to know exactly what's going to happen. I need to know what they're going to do, and whether they're going to, want to love me or come back to me or whatever. They're going to have to release that and trust the situation, trust spirit, because spirit has a plan. When they are willing to surrender and let go of the need to be attached and control things, that's when this karma is going to dissolve. So what's likely ahead for the situation? Look at that. A new beginning, guys. This, you can't make this shit up, I'm telling you. And a revolution. Of course, I love that, because the love revolution. Wow, this is amazing. So what is likely ahead for this situation? We've got the Fool, the divine sacred Fool. This is being willing to take that leap of faith. Look at that. We've got the Great Void, and then we have the Fool. I think some of this card came out in this week's reading too. I don't really remember. Once I've finished channeling, I don't really remember, and I haven't listened to that reading again yet, so not all the way through, so I'm not sure if it did. You can let me know. But the thing is that they're really in this space of what's ahead is people taking that leap of faith. The Fool getting into that energy of just trusting and not necessarily needing to have all of the answers, just willing to let go, willing to just shine forth their light and take a risk and take a chance. It's like, this is literally about releasing karma, releasing old baggage, letting go of the need to manipulate and try and control situations. It's literally about getting back to the core of who people are and letting go of the limitations that they've been placing around them, which is going to spark this revolution. Okay, the revolution has already been sparked. Here's the thing. That's what we've talked about before, is that the revolution has already been sparked in people. When you cross paths with your divine counterpart, it's that sparks immediately, right? You all know what I'm talking about. It's that passion, that aliveness, that sense of being on fire, like Bruce Springsteen said. That's the sense that has happened, but they've been really good at pushing it down. So what's going to happen is this leap of faith, and then people are going to feel this this revolution starting, where they're like, you know what, I'm ready to let go of all the past and all the things that have kept me from shining and from moving forward. They're ready to kind of just dive in the flames of transformation. That's where they're headed. And they're going to, it's going to be a complete life revolution. That it's not going to be just, some little small changes. I feel like this is people that are, what you might call a midlife crisis kind of thing. But there definitely is going to be this mega shift that's going to happen, because look at this. They're waking the F up. This card of denial is about, you can see the snakes all around, right? About to attack this person in the canoe, and it's like, wake up. You're going to lose everything if you don't wake up. That's what's going to happen. People are going to come out of denial. People are going to come out of the space of feeling like, oh, it's going to, everything is going to magically work itself out, because whatever magical thinking they have going on is going to shift. And they're going to wake up, and they're going to be like, look, I've been wasting my life in a situation or a relationship that isn't serving me, with somebody who doesn't respect me or doesn't really love me and only wants me here for their own needs. Whatever it is for them, they're going to wake up and come out of denial. They're going to wake up and stop pretending that that they can just continue to live this kind of half-baked existence, and that it's going to be okay for them. They're going to be like, you know what? This isn't okay for me. This is not a situation I want to live. I want to live with this revolution energy, this passion. I want to, be in a relationship or a partnership with somebody who sparks that fire in me and that stokes that and keeps it. And we go out and we, do major things in the world, and our energy is amazing. They're going to wake up and start feeling like, it's time for me to move in a different direction, and time to follow my heart and take this leap of faith. So really beautiful energies for what's ahead. It feels like things are really going to shift. So let me move this aside. And I'm going to use the Lay Vampire deck by Lucy Cavendish, and I'm just going to pull a couple final messages from Spirit. So Spirit, a couple messages from on what's ahead. Well, I mean, really just messages anyway. Messages about the karmic situation. I don't normally shuffle this way, but this is what I'm feeling led to do, so I'm doing it. One more message, Spirit. One final message about this twin flames karmic situation. Okay, so the first message, interesting. We've got Hunter. It says aggressor, tracker, provider. And then we have ancient. It's ancient, or ancestry, Egypt, magical inheritance. So the Hunter, this card always reminds me of like, kind of like a stalking type of energy. So what I'm getting is that for those of you that are listening, your person that you're thinking about may be actually watching you. They may be keeping an eye on you on social media. I even see some people like having blocked you from one account and then like spying on you from like a secret account, or like things like that. That could be a possibility. So take that as it resonates. But this is the thing, is that they are the part of what's happening right now. And the final message from Spirit is that you know, people need to figure out what's like, they're figuring out what they want and figure out how to get it. Trying to figure out like, okay, so if this is, you know, if I want to be with my counterpart or this person I met, however they conceptualize you, if I want to be in that kind of situation, what do I need to do? How do I need to get that? They're starting to almost recognize that they may have to be the ones to be the quote unquote aggressor and come towards you. Maybe if they blocked you or treated you really poorly, they're going to have to come back and like rectify that and make things right. And it's like they're starting to understand that. But more than just you, this is about getting into a space of really understanding what it is that they want and going after what it is that they need, and tracking it down. So for some of you that have been in no communication with your counterpart for a while, or you haven't heard from them, or maybe, you know, you moved out of state or across country and never told them where you were, or you just kind of disappeared, they may be tracking you down. Okay, they may be trying to find you. This is especially resonant for those of you that have been out and no contact for a lot of years and are wondering. So I feel like there's some people that are really looking you up and trying to find out what's going on with you. This is like, yeah, it's just basically like recognizing that things have to transform, and that's what they're in this space. Like you can't, basically, like going to with the hunter analogy, you can't you know, kill the turkey that you want to eat and keep it either. It's like you have to allow it to transform and transmute energy, and they're really starting to understand that sometimes things just have to shift. So then we have this ancient thing. What I'm getting from this is just right off the jump is that some of what they're dealing with, some of the issues that are in this karmic situation are family things. You know, what you won't face as an individual continues to get passed down. There's this meme that goes around that I absolutely love, and it says like, pain is passed down through families until somebody is willing to heal it. And in order to heal it, you have to feel it. So I feel like what's going on here is for a lot of them is that they're literally in a space of acting out old family traumas, family patterns. So if their parents had toxic relationships, then they're creating the same kind of toxic relationship. If they have, if there was abuse or things like that, they've been passed, they're continuing those patterns. But what I do get is that there will be some moving through that. Okay, I just pulled an extra card to see about that, and this is madness, ecstatic ritual, and energy release. I feel like part of what's going to be ahead for this situation is going to be about releasing this energy, releasing this, these, you know, what do they call them? generational curses, right? And generational curses are really just unhealed pain that keeps getting passed on. And so it feels like people are going to really heal that, which is great for everybody involved. You know, they really do need to, healing is always the best way to go. So I hope that that gives you some insight. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these readings, and I hope that you found this beneficial and that you feel encouraged and inspired to move forward in your life and in the rest of the week. So take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.